Thank you all for inviting us again, and sorry it took us so long to get here. It's kind of hard to get out of the office. But we're here. Again, I'm Rashad Mujahid. I'm the staff assistant with the local Social Security office here in Tallahassee. This is Ms. Angela Beckham. She's a MSS management support specialist. We switch roles so much I kind of forget. We're going to be talking to you today about retirement from the Social Security perspective. We have a new PowerPoint, and we're not going to go over every slide. Angela's going to take specific slides out of there to help you guys understand and whatever aspects you need to understand about Social Security retirement. We'll cover some disability also, and give you an opportunity to have the lion's share for you to ask us questions. We want you to pay strict attention to our online services. There are a lot of things you can do online with Social Security now, and we're really pushing those things to give you an opportunity to do things at your leisure from home to save you some time and to make things a little more convenient for you. So do pay attention to our online services. Identity theft, we want to make sure we pay close attention to that with the cybercrime as it is now. So protect your Social Security. We call it PII, personal identifying information. Please protect it. Your Social Security is your Social Security, and it belongs to no one else. No one else has access and a right to it, so please protect it. We always tell folks to please, if you carry it in your wallet, that's a bad habit. Don't do that. Leave it home. It's not ID. You can't use it for identification purposes. Your employer, Internal Revenue, the banks are probably the only people who are going to need it. Credit unions, of course, or credit bureaus. But for that reason, protect your Social Security. So what we'll do, I'm going to bring Ms. Beckham to the microphone, and she'll start in on the Social Security, go through disability, go through retirement, go through survivors. She's going to be very specific, and hold your questions, jot them down, and we're going to give you the opportunity to use a lion's share of this time for you to ask us questions so we can pinpoint specifically the things that we need to help you with. So don't feel hesitant about asking the questions. Give us an opportunity to help you out. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring Ms. Beckham to the microphone. And again, thank you guys for having us, and we look forward to continuing to participate with you. Okay, let me turn me off.
All right, well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for having us here today. Again, as Rashad mentioned, this PowerPoint that we have is very long, so we're not going to go through each slide page by page, but we're going to hit the topics that we think will be beneficial to you. And if there's something in the PowerPoint presentation that you would like to go over, please hold your questions to the end and we can answer the questions that you have. But before we get started, I want to make sure that everybody has our the number to the local office here and our 1-800 number. So if you have questions or concern, always feel free to give us a call. So the local number here is 866-248-2088. That was 866-248-2088. And our hours of operation are Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 9 to 4. On Wednesdays, we're open from 9 to 12. That's here at the 866-248-2088. That's the local office here in Tallahassee. We also have a 1-800 number that you can call as well. They're open Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And that number is 1-800-772-1213. The local office is open on Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays from 9 to 4 p.m. On Wednesdays from 9 to 12. All right, so we're going to go ahead and dive in.
We are there, day one, with baby names and a gift that lasts a lifetime. We are there as you grow, protecting you and those you love. We are there when you get your first job, helping you to save for the future. We are there when you marry your sweetheart to help secure your new life together. We are there if the unexpected happens to help you see life from a new perspective. We are there when you start your next chapter to make sure you get off to a great start. And we are there when you lose your soulmate to help make sure you will be all right. We are with you through life's journey. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. Get to know us and see what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
This video produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
All right, just so that you are aware, most of our information is online. We do have online publications. So any questions that you may have pertaining to Social Security, of course, you can always call the local office or you can go online to get the information. I would recommend if you find something online and you're not clear, please give us a call, because oftentimes we hear of situations in which people say that they've spoken to relatives or friends and they've taken their advice and they've missed out on benefits or received incorrect information. So you want to call us if you're unclear on something. Okay? So we're with you from day one. From the time that someone is birthed, we have what they call enumeration at birth. Usually when a baby is born, we automatically get them a Social Security number when they're in the hospital. We also, when a person starts to work, they pay into Social Security, and we gather your earnings from the various jobs that you earn throughout your lifetime. Your earnings on your earnings record are very important. It's imperative that you check your earnings record on a regular basis to ensure that the earnings that we have posted on your record is correct, because that determines what benefit we could pay you or anybody else that's potentially eligible for a benefit on your record. So you want to make sure you check your Social Security statement. We don't mail out the green and white forms like we used to in the past. We send them out at different times, but you do have the ability to go online and check your record. So if you go online and there's a discrepancy with your record, please contact us to see what it is that you need to do so that we can correct it. Again, it's so important to check your record on a regular basis to make sure we have correct earnings posted for you. Of course, if you get married and you need to legally change your name, you divorce, or any other reason, we can get you a replacement Social Security card. And this is so important because, again, it's your earnings record. So whatever updated information that we have for you is going to determine what we could pay you in the future. We're there for you if the unexpected happens. For instance, if someone is working and they can no longer work because they become disabled, we have what they call disability benefits. We also have Social Security benefits if the unexpected happens. If a loved one passes away, we pay out children's benefits or survivor benefits. And of course, what everybody's excited about is when they retire. So when you retire, we can pay out your retirement benefits. And so we'll be there for you and your family in the future. Social Security and Medicare is one of the very important public programs. For your instances, again, you want to make sure that your records are correct so that we can pay you properly when it's time for you to receive your benefits. So again, we're with you from day one. Again, when a child is born, we have what they call enumeration at birth. Or if that doesn't happen, of course, the person can come into the Social Security office and get their Social Security number. Okay, if someone is an immigrant and they're coming into the country for the first time, we can offer Social Security numbers as well. If they come in and start working in the U.S., we have what they call enumeration at entry. If that doesn't happen, they can also come into the local Social Security office with the proper documentation, and we can get them a Social Security number as well. So again, it's important that you check your earnings statement to ensure that your records are correct so that we can pay you properly, and it's also to help prevent fraud. Okay, what is FICA? I'm pretty sure everybody in the room knows what that is because we take it out of your check every time you get paid. It's what you pay in the Social Security. Today's workers pay in for Social Security for those that are receiving benefits currently. The money you pay into taxes right now, Social Security taxes, is not placed in an individual fund for you yourself. It's to pay the beneficiaries that are currently receiving benefits. So about 173 million workers will pay Social Security taxes in 2017. About 94% of all workers are covered or eligible under Social Security. Okay, this next slide is a graph of the number of people receiving Social Security or SSI or both. Trying to move right along so we can get to the good stuff. All right, we're going to skip that one and that one. Okay, we talked about if you're married. Okay, so in this section, we're going to talk about benefits available to spouses, divorced spouses, and children, and we're going to learn about government pension offset. So, if you're married to someone for 10 or more years, you could potentially draw a benefit on their record, even if you're not currently married to them. The catch is you cannot be currently married to someone else. So, what happens is when you file for benefits, we ask these questions. For instance, one of the questions in the application for retirement benefits, we ask about any marriages that you've had for 10 or more years. So if you're married to someone for 10 or more years, you could potentially draw a benefit on their record or vice versa. A spouse's benefit is 50%, and that 50% is when you are full retirement age. If you are not full retirement age, you cannot get the full 50%. If your own benefit is more than 50% of that person's record that you're trying to draw a benefit on, we wouldn't pay you anything on that person's record. So we're talking about spouse's benefit when someone is alive. Okay? We also have benefits for children. So if the person is drawing a retirement benefit, we can also pay their children benefits if they're under age 18, if they're still in high school and they're not age 19 and 2 months, or if they become disabled before age 22. So in addition to that worker, we can pay a spouse, a divorced spouse, we can pay children or disabled adult children. Okay, so the spouse's benefit is 50%. Unreduced, that's if you're full retirement age. Everybody has a full retirement age. That's the age that you can receive a full benefit without any type of restriction or reduction. If you elect to get that benefit at 62, which is the earliest that you can get a spouse's benefit, or this type of spouse, which is 62, if you elect to get it at 62, you will not receive the full 50%. We also have what we call young spouse's benefit. If you have a child that's under age 16 and you're caring for that child, we can pay a spouse's benefit even if you're not age 62. Or if you are caring for a disabled adult child that became disabled before age 22. When I say a disabled adult child, we're talking about a child that's receiving Social Security disability benefits. And we also have what they call the divorced spouse's benefits, and we have what they call independently divorced spouse benefits. Basically what happens for this type of benefit, say for instance you were married to someone for 10 or more years, you don't have your 40 quarters that you need to draw on your own record, or your benefit is less than that ex-spouse. Once that ex-spouse turns 62 and you're 62 as well, if that ex-spouse doesn't apply for a benefit, you can independently apply for a benefit on that person's record without them ever filing. So the criteria is you got to be married for 10 or more years, and you cannot be currently married to anyone else. And that's called an independently divorced spouse's benefits. Okay, we talked about full retirement age. Everybody has a full retirement age. It just depends on when you were born. For instance, if you see the top of the chart, it says if you were born between 1943 and 1954, your full retirement age would be age 66. You were born in 1955, your full retirement age is 66 and 2 months. We also have an online calculator, if you don't know when your full retirement age is, where you can go on and see what it is. Okay, this is a little more information about the divorced spouse's benefits. So the criteria is you have to be married to someone for 10 or more years to get a divorced spouse benefit. And you have to be 62 or older. Okay, we have this law called deemed filing. If you are potentially eligible for a benefit on a spouse's record or a divorced spouse's record, if you're eligible for anything on your own record, first you have to apply on your own record, and then we would pay you any additional benefits up to that 50% that you would be eligible for on that person's record. For instance, I'm going to just use a husband and a wife. Say the husband can get about $2,000 at full retirement age, and the wife can only get $200. So 50% of that $1,000 would be $500. So that wife could potentially get $500 in benefits, $200 on their own record, and the additional $3 on the spouse's record. But again, if the spouse is not full retirement age, they wouldn't get the full 50%. So this is where deemed filing comes into play. If you're eligible for anything on your own record, you have to draw that benefit first. And this is a life benefit or a spouse's benefit only that we're talking about here. We also have what you call voluntary suspension. This normally happens when someone is full retirement age. The law used to be if you're full retirement age, you have the option to file on your own record or that spouse's record and draw a benefit. So as of this new law, in order for you to draw on somebody else's record, that person has to apply. The old law said that you can draw on that person's record and they can voluntarily suspend their benefits while you draw on their record. Can't do that now. So if you're going to apply on somebody else's record, they got to apply as well and receive benefits. So that's called voluntary suspension. Most people voluntarily suspend their benefits when they want to accrue what we call delayed retirement credits. So every year that you wait past your full retirement age up until age 70, your benefit has the potential to increase by 8%. So some people do what they call voluntary suspension, and they accrue the 8% up until full retirement age. So if you want to know what your benefit looks like if you were to do something, you can call us and we can put in a formula for you and let you know what it looks like or give you a printout so you'll have that information. Okay, we also have what you call government pension offset. We have some people that work for the government, the state government, or they get a foreign pension, or even the federal government, and they receive a pension based on work in which they did not pay into Social Security. So when it's time to file for Social Security benefits, there's a offset. We're not going to say it's a penalty, it's an offset that we apply. If you have 30 or more years of covered service, there is no penalty. So if you have questions pertaining to that, please call us so that we can answer your questions and let you know if that applies to you. If you are eligible for a pension based on work in which you did not pay into Social Security. The only time this applies is when you're receiving that pension and Social Security at the same time. So that's when the government pension offset will come into play. And this is for a benefit on your own record. We also have a provision called government pension offset. Oh, was that the same one? Yeah, that's the same one. I'm thinking of something else, but we'll get to that in a moment. So it gives an example of how the offset works. For instance, if someone has a pension for $1,200, 2/3 of that pension is $800. If their Social Security spouses or widows benefits is $750, no benefits will be payable to that person, because their 2/3 of their pension is more than what they could receive in Social Security. And if you ever receive the green and white statements from us, just want to remind you that those are estimates, and it also has in a fine print that that estimate does not take into consideration the government pension offset. Okay, if the unexpected happens, say for instance someone becomes disabled, we have what they call Social Security disability benefits. In order for you to receive these particular benefits, you have to be what we call currently insured. And the definition of disability for Social Security purposes, you have to be disabled to the point that you cannot work and earn a certain amount of money. Each year we have what that rate is. If you work and you earn that amount of money or more, if you apply for disability, most likely you're going to be automatically denied. So it's not just the money you make. They look at your medical condition, your education, and your past work experience. And this is just a little information on disability statistics. So of course you have to have worked and paid enough in to qualify for disability benefits, and your disabling condition has to be expected to last for 12 or more months. We also have another program that's called SSI. It's for people who have not really worked and paid into Social Security, and they have limited income and resources. So people that can't qualify for Social Security retirement or disability, they could potentially get SSI benefits. So there is a difference between regular Social Security disability and SSI. Of course, regular disability is based on what you've worked and paid in. That determines what your monthly benefit will be, or if you have any eligible children or a spouse, what they can get in your record as well. And SSI is based on your income and resources. If your income and resources exceed a certain amount of money, we wouldn't be able to pay SSI benefits to you. So basically what happens with the disability benefits, we take your applications at the local Social Security office, or you file online, and we send it over to an agency called Disability Determinations, and they make the decision and let us know if you are approved or not for disability benefits. The process normally takes anywhere from 3 to 6 months, but if you have a urgent medical condition, sometimes we can get those disability applications processed a little faster. And these are our compassionate allowance cases. We also have benefits for wounded warriors and veterans. So if you know anybody that falls in this scenario, it's just a little information to know. Also, when you file for disability benefits, if you're not approved, you do have the right to appeal the decision. I'm pretty sure you all have heard of cases in which people have applied and they say they've been denied, or people say you're always denied the first time. That's not necessarily the case. Everybody's situation is different. It depends on what your individual situation is. But in any case, if you are denied, you do have the right to appeal the decision. And you have 60 days from the time that you receive the denial notice to appeal the decision. And there are several steps in our appeal process. So once you are approved for disability benefits, the goal is to get you going back to work. So we do have what we call work incentives for people who get disability benefits. They can work and make a certain amount of money, and we have various provisions for people who work and get disability benefits. And we're not going to dig into that. And these are the rates for 2017. This information is online as well. So if you want to know what Part B costs or what the SGA rate is, all that information is on our website. Okay, we're going to talk about survivor benefits now. So who's eligible for survivor benefits? Of course, the worker's child that passed away, if the child is under age 18, still in high school, age 19 and 2 months is the latest that they can get those benefits if they're still in high school. And we also have disabled child benefits for children that become disabled before age 22. We also have survivor benefits. The earliest that you can get a survivor benefit as a widow or widower is age 60. If that widow or widower is disabled, the earliest that they can get that benefit is age 50. A survivor benefit can be paid at 100%. Again, it depends on when you apply for that benefit. If you're full retirement age, you can get full benefits. So if you elect to get that benefit at age 60, which is the earliest you can get it, you're normally going to get about 71.5% of the full benefit. Again, there is, for survivor benefits for a widow, the earliest that you can get it at 60. If you elect to get a survivor benefit, you can still work, but there is an earnings limit. So whenever you're under full retirement age, there is an earnings limit. If you're over the earnings limit, we most likely are not going to pay you a benefit. We also have what we call auxiliary or benefits. So again, the child has to be under age 18 for a child's benefit. If they're over age 18, that's a student benefit. So the latest they can get that student benefit is age 19 and 2 months, or a disabled child's benefit, where they've been declared disabled based on Social Security rules. So we also have what we call parents' benefits, and we have the lump sum death payment, which is a one-time payment of $255 that we can pay. So let's talk about spouse's benefits. So the earliest that you can get a spouse's benefit is age 62. You can get 50%, and if you're married to someone for 10 or more years, you can draw a spouse's benefit. So with survivor benefits, the earliest that you can draw that benefit is age 60. You get it at 60, you're going to get 71.5%, or if you are a full retirement age, you can get the full 100%. So for a divorced spouse, you have to be married at least 10 years or more. If you're married to the person at the time of death, you don't have to be married for 10 or more years. It's 9 months or more. So if you're married to someone for 9 months or more and they pass away, you could potentially draw a survivor benefit on their record. And at age 62, you have the option to switch to your own retirement benefit if it's more at 62, or you can wait to full retirement age or after full retirement age and accrue those delayed retirement credits that we spoke about earlier. All right, this is what we've been waiting on, the retirement benefits. This is a little statistics on retirement benefits, and we're going to dive right into it. So how do you get retirement benefits? You have to earn what we call credits. You have to have at least 40 credits to draw a benefit at age 62. Okay, in order to earn a credit in 2017, you must earn at least $1,300. You can only earn 4 credits per year. So each year, the amount that you need to earn a credit, it may have changed. Sometimes it stays the same. It just depends on what Congress approves. So you got to have 40 credits to be eligible for retirement benefits at age 62. So how is your Social Security benefit determined? We look at your 35 highest years of earnings. So based out of the 35, that's how we determine what your monthly benefit amount is. We do have this information online in a publication. You can do the math if you would like to, but the computers do everything for us. So we don't do it manually in the office. We have your earnings record. We put in your social, and it tells us what your monthly benefit is. So if you need that information from us, we can get it for you, or you can go online as well. So what's the best age for you to retire? It really depends on your own individual situation. If you're age 62 and you're still working and you're making over the earnings limit, you might not want to draw a benefit. And the other key is, whenever you elect a reduced benefit, once it's reduced, it's always reduced. The only time that it'll go up, if you elect a benefit at 62 or in between 62 and full retirement age, and you decide that you're going to go back to work and you make over the earnings limit, and we withhold your checks because of those earnings, once you turn full retirement age, we give you credit for those months in which we withheld your check because you were working over the earnings limit. So other than that, once you elect a reduced benefit, once it's reduced, it's always reduced. So I recommend, again, always call us to get estimates if you have any questions, so that you're clear and you can make the best decision for yourself. So we looked at this before, what full retirement age. So anytime you elect a benefit, whether it's a spouse's benefit, a retirement benefit, or a survivor benefit, if you elect it before full retirement age, it's going to be reduced and you're going to be subjected to an earnings limitation. This is just a little chart. Most people, when it's time to receive Social Security retirement benefits, and we'll tell them what their benefit amount is, sometimes they're discouraged. But the goal isn't for you to just depend on Social Security when you turn 62. It depends on these other things as well. Online, we do have a retirement estimator where you can go in and put in figures. Sometimes people will come in and want us to give them an estimate 5 years in the future. You can actually go online and do that for yourself if you're and put the earnings that you expect to make for those 5 years and get an estimate of what your benefits would potentially increase to. Sometimes there is no change, so that's a good way to go see if it's time for you to retire at 62 or wait till a later time frame. So we have all these various online calculators that you can go on our website and use if you're interested in them. And of course, it's at socialsecurity.gov. So this is a estimate of somebody's monthly benefit, and that's how we come up with what your monthly benefit will be. Again, this information is online. We don't do it manually. The computer does everything for us. Okay, this provision here is called the windfall elimination provision. And I apologize. I spoke earlier about the government pension offset. That's if you're receiving a survivor benefit, if you're drawing on somebody else's record. For on your own record, we have what we call the windfall elimination provision. So in order for this not to apply to you, you have to have 30 or more years of covered service. Again, this falls if you are eligible for a pension based on work in which you did not pay into Social Security. We have some city workers that don't pay into Social Security, or they've had jobs with the city and other employers in which they've paid into Social Security. So they have the 40 quarters, but because they're drawing that pension and Social Security, this provision would apply. And this is just an estimate of what the windfall elimination provision, how the benefit would be computed. So when we say 30 or more years of covered services, for every year there's a certain amount of money that you would have to make for it to be considered what we call a covered year. So we do have the chart online. So if that falls, if that's your scenario, please feel free to give us a call so we can let you know if that applies to you. So this is the earnings limit that we talked about. If you elect to get a benefit before full retirement age for 2017, the yearly earnings amount is $16,920. Every $2 that you go over, you would have to pay us back $1. In the year that you reach full retirement age, we have a higher earnings limit. In 2017, that amount is the $44,880. Every $3 that you go over, you would have to pay us back $1. And of course, in the month that you turn full retirement age, there's no earnings limit. Now, for those people that do not elect to get a Social Security benefit in January or at the beginning of the year, or say, for instance, your birthday isn't until June, and we can't pay your benefit until July, any earnings that you've made from January through June, we're not going to hold that against you. So we use what we call the monthly earnings test. We basically take the yearly amount and divide it by 12, and if you're over the monthly limit, we're not going to pay your check. So at any point in time you elect to get a benefit and you continue to work, we ask that you estimate what you expect your earnings to be for the year. And any point in time that estimate changes, we ask you to call us and make us aware, because we pay you based on your estimate. But at the end of the year, we get your actual earnings from the IRS that tells us exactly what you made. So say, for instance, someone was full retirement age this month in 2017. So the earnings that they can make, the $44,880 from January through September. So any money they make from October on, we won't hold that against them. But every $3 that they go over that limit, they would have to pay us back $1. So you actually can make more than the earnings limit when it says 3 for 1 or 2 for 1, but you don't want to go over because you'll end up being overpaid. So this is for people younger than full retirement age in 2017, what their earnings limit or monthly benefit, how it would be affected. So if someone receives $700 in Social Security benefits and the earnings limit is $16,920, it tells us how much they'll get. They'll get all of their benefits because they're not over the earnings limit. So the same person, if they make $17,000 and their monthly benefit is $700, they get the $8,360. So it goes down a little bit, but it's the formula that we use. So we get this question all the time: if Social Security benefits are taxable. We do not automatically take taxes out of your Social Security benefits. It's on a voluntary basis. If you choose to have taxes come out your benefits when you receive them, you have to tell us. We can only do it in certain increments. If you tell us to start it, you can also tell us to stop it. But this is just the formula. Depends on how you file if you have to pay taxes on your benefits. But we recommend that you see your tax preparer to determine if you need to pay taxes on your Social Security. We can't answer that question for you at the Social Security office. And this information is online as well. All right, let's talk about Medicare. We have 4 parts of Medicare: Part A, B, C, and D. Part A is your hospital insurance. Part B is the medical insurance. We also have Part C, which is your Advantage plans. It's a supplemental policy. And we have the Part D, prescription drug benefit plan. Normally, if you have 40 quarters of coverage, you're going to be eligible for Medicare. If that person doesn't have 40 quarters of coverage and they've been married to someone for 10 or more years, or if their spouse does, they can get Medicare on the spouse's record. Okay, the Part A of Medicare is free. Part B is not. A and B normally pays about 80%, so some people elect a Part C plan to cover that additional 20%. And then, of course, we have the Part D plan. The amount for the Part D is based on which provider you choose. Same thing for the Part C. You have to choose a provider and let Medicare know what provider you've chosen for the Part C and D, and that determines what you have to pay for that. Okay, how do you get Medicare? Normally you get it at age 65. If someone has been approved for disability benefits after 24 months of being on Social Security disability, they can get Medicare. We also have benefits for people who have kidney failure, or if they on dialysis or kidney transplant, people who have ALS and environmental health hazard exposure. Those are ways to get Medicare. Medicare has 3 enrollment periods. Everyone has what we call an initial enrollment period, which is normally 3 months before you turn 65 or 3 months after you turn 65. For those people that do not elect Medicare in their initial enrollment period, they could potentially qualify for a special enrollment period. Sometimes people don't need Medicare at 65 because if they're still working or their spouse is still working and they're covered under their own plan or a spouse's plan. So they would qualify for a special enrollment period when they're needing to enroll in Medicare. For those people that don't sign up in the initial enrollment period or the special enrollment period, they can apply in a general enrollment period, which is normally January 1st through March 31st, and then it's effective July of that same year. So we often get the question is, do you have to sign up for Medicare at age 65? The answer is no. It depends on your own individual situation. Some plans cause your premiums to be less if you're still working, if you sign up for Medicare, but if you don't sign up for Medicare in your enrollment period and you qualify for a special enrollment period, there is no penalty if you qualify for a special enrollment period. The key to the special enrollment period, you have to be covered under a group health plan based on your own current employment or a spouse's current employment. It cannot be based upon a retirement plan. So if you're eligible in your initial enrollment period and you don't have health insurance based on your current work or your spouse's current work, most likely you need to go ahead and enroll because you won't qualify for the special enrollment period. And this is just a chart that lets you know when it's effective depending on when you enroll in it in your initial enrollment period. The standard premium in 2017 for Part B is $134. We also have what we call IRMA for people who have higher incomes. So in addition to that $134 for Medicare Part B, you have to pay an additional amount depending on what your modified adjusted gross income for the Part B and the Part D. So each year it changes if Congress approves the change. So you want to check back with us to see if that applies to you. And of course, Medicare has a website that has lots of helpful information if you have questions about Medicare. Basically, what we do at the Social Security office pertaining to Medicare, we sign you up for it. We don't have all the policies and procedures pertaining to Medicare, but we enroll you and disenroll you for the most part. We also have what they call the Extra Help Program, and it's for the Part D prescription drug costs, and it's for people who have limited income and resources. So once you file for Social Security retirement benefits, say for instance you elect a retirement benefit at age 62 or before you're age 65, you're going to be automatically enrolled in Medicare. If you don't elect a benefit at 65, there are forms that you would have to complete, in particular at the time of your special enrollment period, so that we'll know that you qualify for a special enrollment period. And those forms are the CMS 40B and the CMS L564. These forms are online as well. We're going to skip that one. This is just a few statistics. We'll skip that one as well. We'll skip that one as well. How do you apply for benefits? Of course, you can go online and apply. Once you apply and you hit submit, we get your application the next day. You can call the 1-800 number in which I gave you to schedule an appointment. When you make appointments, we can do it over the telephone, or we can do it in office, or you can come into the local office If you elect to come into the local office, we're pretty busy. So if you come in on a walk-in basis, you can expect to wait for some time. So I recommend that you call and make an appointment. And this is what our website looks like when you go on to apply for retirement or disability benefits or Medicare. Have any of you completed a My Social Security account? Great. So I would recommend that you all go online and create a My Social Security account with us. You don't have to apply if you don't want to, but it's a good tool to have so that you can go on and get your personal information. So you have to be age 18 or older. You cannot create an online account for anybody else, only for yourself. You need a valid email address, and you got to make sure that when you go on to create your account, that your information matches what we have in our records. Sometimes with ladies, if we marry and change our names, we forget to come to Social Security to change your name. So that may be a reason that you won't be able to complete a My SSA account. So once you create a My Social Security account, these are some of the things that you will be able to do. If you need a replacement Social Security card, you can go online and do that now in Florida. You can get a benefit verification letter. You can check your benefit and payment information and your earnings record. You can change your address and telephone number. You can start or change your direct deposit. You can request a replacement Medicare card, or you can get a replacement 1099 or the 1042. And if you don't receive benefits, these are things that you can do as well. And once you create a My Social Security account, we do have enhanced security features. So each time you sign into your account, it's this two-step process. And how do you open an account? It's 4 steps, pretty easy. So I would recommend that you all go on and create a My SSA account. All right, so this is question and answer time.